Today's daf is daf mem tes. We are going to begin on daf mem ches and beis by the Mishnah. Shein shayim eskaven chaver, in the case of an ox that was intending to gore another ox, but struck a pregnant woman and her child, the fetuses. Pater medini vladis. So the halacha is that the owner of the ox is pater from paying compensation for the miscarried offsprings. Now, in the case of a person who was intending to injure another but struck a pregnant woman instead and her offspring emerged due to the miscarry, then he has to pay compensation for the miscarried offspring. How does he pay compensation for the miscarried offspring? How is their value assessed? The Beis Din appraises the value of the woman by calculating how much she would be worth if sold as a maidservant before giving birth, and how much she would be worth after giving birth. Then pays the difference of value to the woman's husband. Rabbi Gamliel says, "In Cain, if so, then or a woman gives birth, her value increases." Rather, the Beis Din appraises how much the offsprings are worth, and the one chayav for the damage gives the amount to the husband. If she does not have a husband, her husband died, and so he gives the money to the Yarshim. If a pregnant woman was a Knani maidservant, and then she was free, or she was a Gears, and she was married to a Evet Knani who was free, or to a Kamer who died without any Yarshim, then the one who caused the damage is pater for paying compensation for miscarried offspring. This is because the payment is made specifically to the husband, not to the woman. So that time in the first case of the Mishnah, in the case of the reason, the owner is pater for paying compensation for the offspring when an ox unintentionally gores a pregnant woman, specifically is that he was intending to gore another ox, which is mashma skam leisha. If he was intending to gore the woman, then he does pay the compensation for the miscarried offsprings. He says clearly, with regards to an ox that intended to gore a woman, the owner of the are exempt from paying compensation for miscarried offsprings. So my answer is the same is true that even if the oxen intended to gore the woman, the owners of the are also exempt from paying compensation for miscarried offsprings. And that which is taught, and an ox that was intended to gore another ox. By the Misty Seifa, since in the Seifa we wanted to teach Adam Shalem Miskam Nachavedi. And when a person has Kavana to be Miskam Nachavedi, the Achiksiv Kura, Pasuk says it's Tani Reisha, therefore Nami says Shresh Miskam Nachavedi. Papa says, Shresh Nachavedi shift on a case of an ox that gored a Kanani's maidservant, Yotzalada, and she miscarried them, Shalom Mibla, he pays the ransom. Why? The ox injured a mere pregnant donkey. With regard to the matter of compensation for offsprings, who would be the property of the master, who were they to be born? A Kanani slave is considered property of a master. The Makros, the Pasuk says, when Avram addressed Eliezer, with the Kanani, what does it say? Shulachem pe'im hachamer. He says, you remain here with the donkey. Now, the Chachamim say, they allude that, what does that mean? Am hadem lechamor. A people, that is similar to a donkey. Therefore, the case of an ox goring a Knani maidservant is not including the terrorist exemption from paying compensation for miscarried offsprings. How does he pay compensation for miscarried offsprings? The Beis Din appraises how much value the woman increased due to the offspring. And we're asked, would this be correct interpretation of the term? The Meivulada is compensation for miscarried offspring. Shvat Vuladis Meivulada should have said, how does he pay the increase in the value of the offsprings? So the Gemara answers, it says, this is case of Shalom Meivulada, or Shvat Vuladis. How does he pay compensation for miscarried offsprings and increase in value due to the offsprings? How does he pay the compensation for miscarried offspring and the increase in the value of the offsprings? In other words, what does he do? He's and we praise the value of our woman by calculating how much she would be worth if sold as a maidservant before giving birth, and how much she would be worth after giving birth. What does he mean by saying? What is he saying? So Umar says, he's saying is the monetary value of a woman higher before she gives birth than after she gives birth? Isn't the opposite true, that the monetary value of a woman is higher after giving birth than giving birth? Since the concern for dying during childbirth, which lowers her monetary value prior to giving birth, is no longer concerned. Rather, the basin appraises the value of the fetuses and gives the amount to the husband. We learned as well, but if the monetary value of a woman higher before she gives birth than after she gives birth, a woman is higher after giving birth than before giving birth. Rather, the basin appraises the value of the fetuses and gives the amount to the husband. Rabbi says, this is what the Shimon Gamliel is teaching. The value of the woman higher only the one for whom she gives birth, her husband, and she herself does not have any increase in the value at all due to the offspring. A pregnant woman's monetary value is increased on the account of her pregnancy beyond the monetary value of the offspring. Rather, based on appraises the value of the offspring and gives it to the husband. And in addition, the husband and the wife divide the increase in their value due to the offspring. Is the value of the woman higher only for the one on whom she gives birth, her husband, and she herself does not have any increase in the value due to her offspring? Rather, the base that appraises damage by itself and pain by hand, if it's pain by itself, and it phrases the value of the offspring and gives it to the husband and the wife divide the increase in their value due to the offspring. So the Gemara says, Kasha Rabbi Gamliel, Kasha Rabbi Gamliel ben Gamliel, Shimon Gamliel. It's like Kasha Khan B'Mivakeres. First price, which states that the woman's value increases after giving birth, is referred to a woman giving birth to her firstborn. Her value decreases prior to her birth out of concern that she might die of childbirth. Second price, which states that her value increases due to pregnancy, is referring to a woman who is not giving birth to her husband. And according to the Chachamim, the increase in her value due to the offspring is also given to her husband. She says, any day she says, don't I know that she's pregnant? That the increase in her value due to the pregnancy is given to her husband. That he says the one who injures a woman is never chayav to pay compensation for miscarried offspring unless he strikes her off opposite the womb. It means anywhere that the wound impact could reach the offspring, any part of her torso. To exclude a hand or a foot, the lady is not chayav, since it could be argued that it was not the wound of the hand or her foot that caused the miscarriage. Mishnah says, if the pregnant woman was a maidservant and she was free, or a convert, he is putter from payment or damage from miscarried offspring. They taught this by only case where one injured her during the lifetime of the convert, her husband. Since the injured her during the lifetime of the ger, so the ger requires it. Once the ger dies, so once the guy dies, the money is hefker. But if he injured her after the ger died, she acquires the money and she must pay, and he must pay the woman herself. Master of this ruling, is this to say that the compensation of the offspring is like bundles of money? And she acquires them when her husband dies? It always seems to understand that the pregnant woman assumes ownership of the offspring by virtue of being in possession of them when the husband dies. Therefore, has the right to compensation for them. At least for the Baal, this is not the case. Rather, if the husband is present, the Torah grants compensation to the offspring. At least for the Baal, if the husband is not alive, then the Torah does not grant compensation to anyone else. Basically, the answer shall against the opinion of Rabbi from the following Higas Isha, if the guy struck a woman and the offspring number to the miscarriage, he said with child Isha, he gives compensation for damage and pain to the Baal. And compensation for the miscarried offspring to the husband. If the husband is not alive, then he gives it to the Yershim. And the Isha nation the Yershim. If the woman is not alive, he gives it to the Yershim. Then Zafa, and then the guy acquires it. This indicates that if the husband is no longer alive, the woman doesn't receive anything. This price is more preferable than the Mishnah, which he interpreted as referring to the case where he injured her during the lifetime of the ger, the covered and died. I'm here to also that he injured her during the lifetime of the ger. Again, everybody's saying, but if you want to say that after the death of the converts, Tani is also. It's a different teaches also. Lema Ketanai, shall we say this is off the name Basishol? Why? Because Basishol is the given Mendo in the Garta, a Jewish woman who was married to a convert. She became pregnant from him, and someone injured her, causing her to miscarry. If this was during the lifetime of the ger, and they seem to be able to this the ger, then he gives the compensation for the ger. Lachem is the ger. Tanichad chayv, tanichad b'adam. I love tonight. The Rabbi bought it tonight. I love this. The milim tonight. Versus like kasha. Rabban out of Rishon Gamliel. Every money either Rishon Gamliel, Meiri lachem misa. Feel Mechaim Nami is like palgi, and during the lifetime she should have. Where it says Mechaim is the palga lachem misa is flum. While he is alive, she has half the share, but after his death, all of it belongs to everybody. Same over Rishon Gamliel. Kam b'shvach v'ladis. Here's the increase of the offspring. Kam made the voice, and there's the compensation of the miscarried offspring. Already said Mishvach v'ladis lishvam nam v'ladis. From the law that after the husband's death, the woman acquires a share, but the increase in her value is due to the offsprings. So when Rishon Gamliel lishmal and abonan. And from the opinion of Rishon Gamliel, let us derive that this is also the opinion of the Chacham, since there's no machlekes between them with regard to the payment of compensation for miscarriage. Already said like Shvach v'ladis the shach yedei b'davai zochsu b'kolel. In the case of the increase of her value due to the offsprings, in which she has a share from the outset, she acquires all of it. When the case of the mimma is the shach yedei she does not acquire at all, and she does not acquire the rights of it at all. Since she has no greater claim to this than the other individuals at all. A person who takes possession of documents of a convert, what's the law after the death of the convert? The person who takes possession of the documents, takes possession with the intention of acquiring the land that the document states is under lien. And since he did not take possession of the land itself, he does not acquire the document. Or perhaps his intention is also to acquire the document and the paper on which is written belong to. He says, answer this, my master. Does he need to acquire the document to use as paper to cover the opening of the flask? Why would he want the document if it does not grant him ownership of the land described therein? He said, indeed, his intention is even to cover the flask and to cover with paper. In the case where the collateral of a yid was in the possession of a convert, lent him money, and the ger died, and the ger came, and another yid came and took possession of it. Says the convert has the yershim, the Beis Din appropriates it from his possession and touches to the owner. My time it came to Mr. Ger, once the ger dies, the lien of the property is taken away. Therefore, the deposit automatically returns to his owner, and no one else has the right to take it. If a collateral of a convert is in the possession of a yid who lent him, again the ger died. When the yid now took it, the one who owed money acquires the share of the collateral corresponding to the money owed to him by convert. So the other one gets the rest. Let his court affect acquisition of that person's court affects acquisition for him even without his knowledge. There's no chutzner there. Anywhere where there is his present next to the collateral, if he wants to acquire it, he could pick it up and acquire it. Anywhere that he is not present, so that if he wants to acquire it, he cannot acquire it. His court does also not affect his acquisition from him. Where the creditor is not present in his courtyard, the late kana he does not acquire. Next Mishnah says, we'll stop here.